Do I need a website even if I work by myself as a solo beauty provider? If you have ever found yourself asking that question, be sure to stay till the end because I am sharing my thoughts on who I think should have a website in the beauty industry and also discussing what type of website would best benefit you in your stage of growth in the beauty business. Hey beautiful friends, welcome to Faith Elizabeth Marketing, the place where licensed beauty professionals become empowered entrepreneurs through marketing tactics and growth strategies. My name is Faith. I'm a licensed esthetician as well as a master's of science in digital marketing and analytics. I'm happy that you're here. Welcome in. So I have a confession. I have made quite a few websites in my day. And whenever I first started, I actually made them for like larger spas and salons who had multiple services and multiple service providers and just a lot going on. Throughout the years, I have definitely worked with solo estheticians and people who are kind of on the fence of, do I need a website? Do I not need a website? You know, just that weird middle point where we just don't know if we're ready to grow our marketing to that level. And I'll be honest, my favorite websites that I've created are for solo estheticians or estheticians that have created small spas that are kind of getting themselves off the ground. But I also understand being in the middle of saying, do I need my business to grow to this level, or am I comfortable where my marketing is right now? And just kind of having that confusion. So hopefully this video can kind of break down who needs what type of website and if a website is even in your best interest. And again, I have one more confession. My initial reaction whenever somebody asks me if they need a website in the beauty industry is yes. And I'll be honest, I do have a bias because I have seen what websites can do for spas and solo esthetician growth. So unless you are like fresh out of water, like brand new esthetician, which even then sometimes a website can be a good idea, I would at least get a domain. Like even if you're not ready for a website, like get a domain. Domain is a good place to start if you're not there yet. But if you are not brand new and you do have a domain that you've been sitting on, my initial reaction is yes. But not everybody needs the same website. If you're brand new or you're still not ready, take this information for what it's worth and just know that whenever you are ready to expand your marketing or expand your growth, that this type of information will help you determine what website is best for you. So hopping into what type of website would work best for your business, just know that, you know, if you take a spa that does lash extensions, eyebrow design, you know, like lash specialties, and they have 3 waxers and 4 lash technicians, their website is going to look vastly different than a solo esthetician that has very similar services, but is a solo esthetician and does everything themselves, including finances and checking things out and cleaning the room afterwards. It will have a very different vibe, as it should, because basically your website is going to be how your clients make an informed decision on whether or not they want to get a service with you. You want to make sure that you're putting your top features and your best benefits forward so that a client can make an informed decision, and how you do that is going to look different. Large spas usually have more services and more providers, which means that they have more avenues to take a potential client down in terms of their website. Whereas a solo esthetician or a very small spa needs to lead with their expertise, their ability to take care of one specific client and really give them the VIP treatment. And in my experience, large spas and salons don't usually recoil at like severe complexity in websites, whereas solo estheticians and small spas that are just starting to hit their growth stage, you know, they do tend to kind of get a little bit nervous about the complexity of a website. So I want to reassure you that there are many different ways to go about a website, and I'm going to break down what you need for each category. All right, so first up is a large spa and salon. Okay, so if you are someone who has multiple service providers and a lot of services, 9 times out of 10, it is in your best interest to just go ahead and consult with a professional website designer, because you are going to need someone who can strategically map out every single stage of the customer journey for each service. And that's going to look different for every service and every single client, but you need someone with an expertise to look at all of your services and all of your providers and really put together a a strategic map that's going to help guide your client to the end goal, which is booking a service. The reality is clients can get very overwhelmed in websites for large spas and salons if they are not strategically done correctly, because having more services and more service providers can lead to a chance of your client basically getting lost in your website and it becoming overwhelming and they don't really know where to go, and so they just exit. As a large spa, it's also going to be very important that you really double down on SEO. And for a lot of people, this includes getting a blog. I know it sounds so old-fashioned and outdated, but it can really leverage you above and beyond anybody else in your market. Having a blog in your website, and this goes for everybody, but specifically for large spas and salons, having a blog really helps clients, one, understand the expectations, also instills values and education, but it signals to Google that your website is a powerhouse and they need to start ranking it very high in their search rankings. If you have a blog, you're putting in more keywords that are attractive to Google and attractive to your clients as they're searching for things in your area, and it can really help rank your website on the first page. The emphasis of your branding is going to hit a new level because you will now be identified as a larger business, and people tend to be less connected to larger businesses because they tend to stop seeing the face behind the business and they start to see the business as just the brand name and just the colors and the aesthetic, which can stop a few connection points in the marketing strategy in your client experience. So be sure that whenever you create that website that you have a deeper mission and a deeper meaning to every single page. You want to make sure that everything is very centered around your values and your mission statement. The second category are small spas, or those who have a business that's separated from them personally, and maybe they have a couple service providers, but it's still considered fairly tight-knit. You have now reached that next level of growth, and it's not just you anymore. You have a separated branding because you're taking off. So you're not necessarily the big dog players, but you're getting there. You have constant growth and you can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. You can see how you could start competing with those large spas. Not saying that solo estheticians can't compete with those large big dog players. It's just a different approach. That's all. So it's still very important to have some sort of custom mapping to your website, but as a smaller spa, you are able to start exploring some pre-designed templates, and you're able to create a more simplified and defined website. At this stage is really the time that you need to start developing in all of your marketing, your overarching ideals, values, and branding everywhere, but specifically in your website in the most concise and clear way. See, large salons and large spas can be a little bit more vague and just kind of the overarching feel of their branding and their values. It can feel a little bit more vague, but for small spas, you need to have a very clear and concise communication with your clients to let them know exactly what you believe in as your little spa or salon. At this point in growth, I actually like to talk with business owners about what type of personality their brand in their spa is taking on. Because a lot of times it starts to take on its own personality, its own identification factors that is different from you as a solo esthetician that you once were. Okay, so last and certainly not least are solo estheticians. So let's talk about what type of website most benefits them. If you are a solo esthetician, your best plan of action for a website is to keep it small, manageable, and personal. Sometimes so many solo businesses in our industry tend to lose their personality because the solo esthetician that is running their personal brand with the business tend to take a step back and hide behind a brand that really doesn't represent who they are. And this can be kind of a delicate spot to be in as a solo esthetician, especially if you've been sitting at solo esthetician for a while and you're ready to convert into small spa or salon. Know that whenever it's just you, this is actually a major power play because you are able to give your clients the VIP treatment every single time because they are specifically going to you. They will be the only person in that service. Well, obviously that service, but you know what I mean. They'll be the only person in your suite. Having a brand ready to go and being branded is totally fine, but make sure that that brand really instills the significance of why you're in the industry. If you have passion, so I like to go back to like holistic skincare or like luxury waxing. Those are the types of like passions that people have that whenever they start to brand their business while still being a solo esthetician, if done correctly, they can really make that power play nice. And there's nothing wrong with being a branded business while being a solo esthetician and kind of separating yourself from your business, because it's starting to signal to your business that it's ready to grow. And I think that's very important, don't get me wrong. But there is an obvious difference between an esthetician who has a brand that is solidified into their passion, what they do and what they're planning on growing into, versus a solo esthetician or, you know, hairstylist, anyone in the beauty industry who is independently working, who just kind of puts a Canva logo on it and just calls it good. Because you don't have the other service providers and the extra services to back up, you know, your credibility. Sometimes the basic branding can feel like an extra disconnect to clients, and it can feel like a loss of credibility for some potential clients. They lose that trust. So in terms of website, you really want to keep it personable, even if you do have a brand connected. Be sure to have pictures of yourself. People love to connect with people. They don't love to connect with brands. Your website should also, as a solo esthetician, have very strong call to actions and be very clickable. As a solo esthetician, the best thing that you can do is have a clear and concise website that is easy to navigate and gets all of the clear information across with a really strong call to action, which luckily for you does not have to be complicated and actually can be one page. And solo estheticians that have one-page websites, oftentimes they do perform really well. And I think that people underestimate the one-page website, but you can get all of your information across through one page as opposed to multiple clicking and navigation. One-page websites for solo estheticians are also a great option whenever you don't have a lot of experience, content, or portfolio. So I know that websites can feel very intimidating. However, they do get less intimidating whenever we know what to work with. Having a website that fits your growth stage in the beauty industry is very important, and it will nurture your clients along to instill more confidence in them booking with you. And then once they book, you've got that in the bag. You've got it. If you've reached this part of the video and you're still having hesitations on your website or your branding, I want to encourage you to go ahead and take a look at my website as well as the services that I provide. I do offer website design and brand strategy as well. Depending where you're at in your growth of your beauty business, I would love to offer any type of help or expertise I can. So go check that out. If you have any super pressing questions that you would love the answer to, go ahead and email me at contact@faithelizabethmarketing.com, and I will leave the link to the services and my website as well as the link to my email down below. So if you have any quick questions, just send them my way. I would love to answer. And if you found something valuable in this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe so we can chat again about marketing as a beauty professional and how you can make it look easy. Bye guys, see you next time.